Welcome everybody to our next level training that we do every Wednesday at 9 a.m. Pacific time in the United States. This training is actually designed for those people on the other side of the country, other side of the world, because it's early in the morning here, and people over in Africa, for example, South Africa, where we have Beverly and Sue. In Kenya, we've got Ruth and Yvonne and Florence and Bancy. Of course, in Canada, we've got Claudia, and we've got Jay Michael, who's pretty early out there in Texas. I'm sure we'll have more people joining in, but I like to do this in the morning here in the US for our people over there in Africa, because it's 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the evening, and it's a good time for you to get on. This training is really about more of a conversation where I get to share with you some topics, some stories, some experiences that I've had, and even your participation is wonderful. So if there's any questions, any comments, they're always welcome. And I appreciate you taking the time to join in. Before we started this Zoom meeting today, I was mentioning with our guests here a little bit about the world of networking. If you think about it, we live in a world today of communication and information. We're around people. We have to be around people. We can't survive without other people. And to me, networking is simply programming your brain to share something with someone, not trying to be a salesperson, not trying to be pushy, just simply, sharing with them your testimony, your feeling about something, and making a habit of that, which means you do it on a regular basis. I'm not saying every single day you're running around out there. You can, and I certainly have in the past. Every day that I'm working the business, I'm engaged working the business. But I'll give you an example. Yesterday, I took off a little bit earlier than normal. Normally I try to work until 5, 6 o'clock in the evening. And then when I have, evening calls, Zooms, I have to do those on my calendar. But yesterday I decided to take off at about 4 o'clock in the afternoon and take my baby boy, which is always beside me. He's right there's my baby boy. He's actually tired today. I took him to the dog beach. San Diego, where I live, is probably the best place in the world, seriously, when it comes to dogs, because there's dog parks. They're all fenced in and the dogs just run around. I don't like going to those, but I like going to the dog beaches. There's a number of dog beaches in San Diego. There's one that's an island, actually, and I love it. It's called Fiesta Island. And so I took Odin there yesterday, and it was a high tide, which means the water's coming up pretty high. And so we're walking, and I just noticed that there wasn't many people at the beach. And so Odin loves to play with the other dogs, and he looks forward to it. And we just walked along about 1.5 miles, 2 miles, and I'm just throwing his ball in the water, and he's swimming, getting it, and so forth. Anyhow, on the way back, as I got closer to where I parked the car, people started coming. And this one guy came out there, and he was wearing shorts, and you could tell that I'd say he's probably in his late 40s, maybe early to mid 50s even. And you could tell he worked out, he trained. And he's throwing this thing out for his dog in the water. And I could hear him talking. He has his accent. And my dog went up to his dog. And that's a great introduction, by the way. The dogs meet each other. So we humans have to engage in conversation a little bit. And I said, what kind of dog do you have? Because the dog looked kind of interesting. It's a Labradoodle. You guys ever heard of Labradoodles? It's a combination of Labrador and Poodle. It's called Labradoodle. So it's a black, like a Labrador retriever with curly black hair. And boy, it loved the water. So anyhow, that's how the conversation started about a dog, okay? Well, when he's talking, his accent, it sounded to me like he's from Australia. Now, I just said to him, I said, so where are you from, Australia? And he goes, no, he says, well, I'll give you credit. I lived in Australia for about 3 years. So I'm from the UK, from England, from Manchester. And so we started talking. And that led to, I mentioned him, I said, I see you train, you work out. And he says, yeah, he says, I try to work out on a regular basis, because he was in good shape. And I said, I market a line of supplements. And he goes, oh, really? He goes, tell me about it. And he just said this right away. He goes, tell me about it. Maybe I'll become one of your loyal customers. And I told him, I says, well, we have a line called Transform. And he goes, do you have a pre-workout? And I said, we do. It's called Pre-Zoom. And he goes, yeah. He says, I buy my protein from, I think it's One Nutrition. He gets his protein from. And it says, you need to try our protein. He goes, send me the information. He says, I'll try it. You guys, so here's my point, that networking is something we all need to be prepared for at any time. You never know who you're going to be around talking to on what occasion. What sparked this? Yeah, the dogs were playing, but this guy's in such good shape. Why not tell him I market a line of nutritional supplements? I market a line of Transform products. I know the guy takes something, because when you're that good a shape, chances are you have a regiment. You have a pre-workout, a post-workout shake or protein. And so anyhow, I have no doubt he'll be buying our Transform products and using them. So that's one story yesterday. And the other story is quite cool, is that this other dog came out. And I'm telling you, I'm going to share with you a quick video. All right. And I love dogs, you guys. So you have to be a little patient with me here. It's on my cell phone. So let me tell you, let me just share this real quick. Let me first open up my, there it is. All right. And now I should be able to share it. 1 second here. There it is. Okay. So I'm going to share my cell phone with you. You probably won't hear the audio, but you'll be able to see the video. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So
Yes.
check out this white. Now, my dog, Odin, is not the white dog. The white dog's like a wolf. All right. Like a white wolf. Cool looking dog. His blue eyes. So it's basically Odin sees the dog, and this is what they start doing. Let me share this with you here. It's this one right here. So it's kind of skippy. Wonder why it's doing that. Hang on a second. Let me try again. So the dogs are playing, and the white dog, can you see the dogs?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
It's a little skippy, but the point is, now the guy is sitting in a chair next to me. I'm filming this. And while the dogs are playing, I'm talking to him about, it started by me asking him if he lives in San Diego. You from here? He goes, yeah, I just bought a house. He says, but I've spent the last 5 years traveling. And I said, oh, wow. I said, what do? You pilot? Or he says, no. He says, I was a Wall Street stockbroker. He sold securities, and he made a lot of money. And he went out traveling for 5 years. His Instagram even says he's been to 23 countries, so many national parks, really, really cool story. So anyhow, in talking to him, it got to where he asked me what I did. And I says, oh, I'm a networker. I says, I've been to 106 countries. Now, I wasn't trying to outdo him by saying, well, I've been to 106 countries. You've only been to 23. I got you beat. No. So basically, anyhow, there's my Odin right there. So, okay. So our conversation went on. I was planning on leaving the dog park, the dog beach, at about probably maybe 5:30 or so. I was there till 7 o'clock, you guys, talking to this guy. He kept me talking. He says, I want to hear about your business model, because now what he's doing, he's getting his commercial pilot's license for United Airlines. Y'all probably heard of United Airlines. And so he's going to be going to Phoenix, getting his. He says, but I really want to do something as well on the side to make some money. He says, I know a lot of people, some successful, some meet these, but the point is this. The first guy, what was it about? Was it about the business opportunity, or was it about the product? The product. Okay. The guy works out, trains now. And I even told the second guy, the first guy's name, by the way, is Mike Holt. The second guy, his name is Richard Stryker. All right. Richard, it was all about the business. In fact, Richard had a bit of a pot belly. He's in one of those recliner chairs laying there while the dogs are playing, and he's just enjoying himself. But anyhow, with him, it was about the business model. And I told him, I said, look, here's how networking works. I said, you saw Mike, the guy that you could tell you trained, because they were pretty close to each other. He goes, yeah. I was talking to him about our product. That's all. I don't know, maybe Mike might use the product, then look at the opportunity, then get involved, but it all begins with the conversation. That's it. Networking is nothing more than engaging in conversation. And I told Richard this. I said, look, we've been talking now for 30 minutes and I feel like you're a good friend of mine. And he says, yeah, he says, you're a good guy. He says, I like you. And so first you establish a friendship with someone. And then next you establish trust. But the trust doesn't come until you start, working a bit together and you see how responsible, like if I tell you I'm going to be on a call or I'm going to be, there for you in a presentation or anything you need, I'm there. All right. That's a good sponsor. And so we were talking, but he was asking me, this guy was a Wall Street securities trader. So to him, it's all about what? Numbers. And so now he's asking me, how do you get paid? How does the pay plan work? How's the structure? And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to explain this to him with no visuals. You know what I'm saying? Nothing to look at on a computer or a whiteboard, nothing. And so I tried to simply explain to him. And the way I did it was like this. I said, look, it's not a pyramid, first of all. Let me give you an example. Let's say I sponsor you and you're the only one I sponsor, and that's it. I'm what you would call an associate, which means I will get paid on anything you purchase on your For Life account. Now, we're all customers. I'm a customer. People in my network that have signed up, everyone's a customer. Some buy every month, some buy once every few months, some buy sometimes, but we're all customers. We buy, when we want to buy, but if you're active in the business, then you're a loyal customer. You every month, because you have to purchase 100. I didn't say life points because, he doesn't know what life points are. I said about $120, maybe $150 every month of product. That's your qualification. I don't want you buying inventory. I don't want you buying it and going out and selling it. Everybody buys directly from our company, no matter where you live. If you live in Spain, you buy it from the Barcelona office. If you live in Bolivia, you buy it from the Santa Cruz office. If you live in Japan, you buy it from the Tokyo office. And in some countries, we have multiple offices. And then I went back to telling him about the structure. I said, so if I sponsor you, and that's it, I get paid on what you buy on your account, which might be, let's say it's 200. All right. I would get $4. I'm not going to get rich on $4. But the people you sponsor, I get 25%. That's level 2 for me, level 1 for you, because you sponsored them. So now I might be making, maybe $100, $200 a month. That's it. But let's say that you go out and you sponsor 30 people, 40 people in your For Life career. And of those 40 people, 3 of them take it seriously and you build 3 gold legs. I'm not going to get into what golds are, but they're doing, a lot of business and your organization does $1 million. Well, if you're doing $1 million and I sponsor you, I'm doing $1,200,000, right? 1 million plus your 200. I'm doing more than you, but I'm only getting paid a couple $100. You, my friend, are getting paid maybe $100,000 to $200,000 as a platinum. And I could see his eyes open up. And he's like, oh, really? I said, yeah. I said, so you get the people that get paid in my business are the ones that deserve it, the ones that actually go out and build it. It's not like the corporate world where there are a lot of people in the corporate world that get paid for doing nothing. All right. They're the boss, so to speak. And the boss doesn't want you to know what they know because you might steal their job. In our world, I'm here to serve you. I want you to be successful, Richard, because if you're successful, guess what I am? Successful. And so our conversation went on for an hour and a half. But the point is this. With him, it was about the business. So as networkers, and this is, I feel that it's my responsibility now as a 24-year For Life veteran, basically. 24 years I've been doing For Life. 41 years I've been in the network marketing arena, this business. And I feel it's my responsibility to help people be, good ambassadors to this industry and to our company For Life, but to do my best to convert every one of you into professional networkers. Now, some of you might resist me. I don't want to be a professional networker. Wonderful. That's okay. Take it to whatever level you want. But who am I to judge? I'm not going to say, well, Ruth, you can't be a professional networker. You're destined to be an eternal associate or customer. No, you're not. You're a platinum. I think everybody's a platinum. All right. So somebody has to tell me or show me they just don't want to be. All right. So I work now hard to try to help everybody become good professional networkers and understand this business of networking. Okay. When I talked to Richard yesterday, I explained to him, you guys, excuse me 1 second. I've got to turn my air conditioner on in here because it's getting warm. It's hot outside. Alexa, set off this thermostat to cool. Thank you. So anyhow, um, so what I was saying was, in talking to Richard, it was about the business, and I was explaining to him the process of networking and doing it as quickly as I can. And that's our theme today, the process of networking. I want everyone to understand this process. And here's why. If you don't understand the process, you're going to run into some road bumps, some hiccups along the way. And you can call it resistance, you can call it rejection, whatever you want to call it. All right. And a lot of people quit. Why in the world would you quit? I feel people quit because they don't really know the process. And if you understand the process, it doesn't make any sense. Common sense tells you that not everybody in the world is going to be ready for your message. All right. Many people are not going to be ready. Now, the guy I talked to yesterday, maybe he's ready. He's going to buy product from me. Maybe Richard's going to sign up and he may be a platinum and I have no idea. All right. But the point is, again, I'm not the one who determines who's ready and who's not ready. I think everybody's ready. That's my attitude. And I know for a fact I'm going to come across people that are not ready. I had a conversation with one of my Brazilian distributors yesterday, Anderson. Some of you know Anderson. He gets on our calls. Well, Anderson's in Brazil, and he was telling me yesterday, Dave, I talked to this guy 5 times. Finally, he's ready to sign up. And I said, Anderson, now he's ready. He wasn't ready the first, second, third, or fourth time. And you didn't beat him over the head. It took 3 years. Anderson's now signed up 3 years ago. It took 3 years of persistence. And the reason Anderson kept getting back to this guy was because he knew this guy had a big circle of influence. The guy knows a lot of people. He's pretty well known. And so Anderson just kept dripping on him little by little. And finally, after almost 3 years, he's ready. So here's my point. In this process of networking, please understand that it's not your responsibility or my responsibility to make everybody ready. We treat everybody as if they are ready. We will plant seeds. We will be talking to people and plant seeds, making For Life a household name around the world. And as people hear about it, some will, some won't. So what? It's okay. You'll plant seeds that other people will harvest. And if you continue networking, you will harvest seeds that other people plant. Don't be surprised. You run into somebody, a year, 2 years, 3 years from now, and they say, yeah, somebody told me about For Life and Transfer Factor a couple of years ago. Wonderful. Well, let me tell you a bit more about it. I don't know what happened, but let's talk about it. All right. And if you're interested, let's build a business with this. And so the process of networking for me, and I'm going to go back to the day I signed up in For Life. Here's what I did to get to where I am. All right. And please understand, the only difference between someone who you see making a lot of money as a networker in For Life, the only difference between a platinum and another person is one, time. In other words, they might have been like, I've been doing it for 24 years. You do the same thing for 24 years. All right. One or two things is going to happen. You're going to either quit because after 24 years, you've done the same thing over and over and over and over. And Einstein says that's what's called insanity, because nothing's changed and you didn't make any changes. So you just basically said, well, all right, 24 years, I'm insane, I quit. Or you understood the process and you started doing the things that other people are not willing to do. And by doing those things, you now start moving up, becoming a presidential, a bronze, a gold, a platinum, and so on. Okay. And so my goal is to get people to do the necessary things to achieve the rank that they so desire. Now, whatever that rank that is that you desire, it's up to you, not me. If you want to be a platinum, let's go for it. Let's go for platinum. If you want to be a diamond, great, become a diamond, whatever your goal is, the process really begins the same way for everybody. Number one, when I signed up in For Life in October 20, wow, I'm coming up to my 24-year anniversary. October 20, 1998 was the day I joined For Life. I knew that this is what we call word of mouth advertising. For Life pays me and you to do one thing only. They don't pay us to do administration. They don't pay us to process payments. They don't pay us to ship products. They don't pay us to stock inventories. They don't pay us to pay overhead expenses. They don't pay us to open up countries and pay licenses. They do all that, and they do it very good. So now they expect us to do something that they have decided not to do: marketing. The company said, well, we've got 64% here. We can take that 64% and we could spend it on running television ads, Google ads, internet ads, radio ads, billboards on streets and so forth to get the For Life word and transfer factor out there. But they chose not to do that. So now they took a risk saying, we're going to depend on Sandili and Bev in South Africa and Sharon and Sue, and we're going to depend on Jen and Madi and Mercy and Margaret and Tichi and Bancy and Yvonne and Florence and Dr. Regina and Daddy Cool, hey Daddy Cool, and Claudia and J. Michael Smith and Sue and Beatrice and all of us. The company is going to depend on us so they can survive. You guys, that's a heavy responsibility for a company just starting. Well, that responsibility fell on my shoulders, but I also came with 18 years of experience in this industry. I'm okay. Give me the responsibility. I will talk until my tongue hurts. All right. And that's what I did. So I left Utah the day I signed up, came back to California, and I put together a little presentation. Now I've got something I'm going to share with you guys at the end of this. We've got a presentation. I sent it to Dr. Regina. He's already seen it. I think it's a pretty cool presentation. It's kind of designed for the younger generation. It's quick, to the point. And have you seen it, Claudia? Omar's presentation?
Yes.
I'll unveil it here when we're done. But I went back and I did my presentation, or I created my presentation. And I thought, okay, I get paid to do one thing only: talk to people. Now I'm going to talk to them about David Lisenby, because I have a lot of belief and faith in him, his principles, his values, his experience in this industry, his vision of taking transfer factor to the world. And then I'm going to talk about transfer factor. Now, where did I learn about transfer factor? Because I knew nothing about transfer factor. I learned from my upline. I talked to Dr. Townsend. I talked to Dr. Markowitz, pediatrician. Dr. Townsend, by the way, is a world-renowned oncologist and cancer specialist. He was using transfer factor on his cancer patients after operating. In fact, Dr. Townsend is the pioneer of cryosurgery, which is freezing of the uterus to operate on cancer. He still holds some of the patents for the tools. So anyhow, I got Dr. Townsend in my upline, and you all do too, Dr. Robertson in my upline, who is an emergency medical doctor. There was a problem though. They're doctors. Doctors tend to be very technical. So every time they're talking to me, I kept saying, you guys, I use the KISS method, KISS, keep it simple and stupid. All right. I don't want to convert everyone into being a doctor. And so now, as they're talking to me, I started thinking, okay, I'm not going to get into natural killer cells and T helper cells and the molecular weight of transfer factor and all that stuff. But I will talk about borrowed immunity. I will use an example that, hey, wouldn't it be cool that if somebody had antibodies for a particular, and back then I did say disease until we were told we can't do that, but a particular threat, or today just say threat. If somebody had antibodies of a particular threat out there and they were immune to it, and they could take that information and transfer it to you, and now you have that information, so if you ever confront that threat, you're protected. Wouldn't that be awesome? We have it. Transfer factor. And so I try to keep my message simple. It was more product based than opportunity based, other than I would tell people, look, we're a new company, because people always say, well, anybody making money? No, not really. Company's doing about, I don't know, 40,000 a month of business, 50,000 a month of business. I know they hit 70,000 a month in 1999. When after I was involved with 4Life a few months. But the point is this: there was no big success stories from the opportunity side. Well, today I got 141 people made $1 million in 4Life. 4Life's paid my organization now. And by the way, we'll jump. I'm going to go back in time again through the process. But here it's now been 24 years. 4Life has paid my team, my people, over $2 billion. There have been months where they've paid $1 million every day. Every day, $1 million being paid to people in my organization. Now, what piece of the pie I get, as a platinum, I get a pretty decent piece. I don't get all the pie, I don't get all the cake, because it's not a pyramid. So if the company pays $1 million a day and I'm getting, I don't know, let's just say $10,000, well, that means what, 990,000 is getting paid to other people in the network? That's insane, but that's true. So nobody can say there's no success stories today. There's tons of success stories. Just go on the 4Life website and click on about 4Life, and then look at recognition. Look at recognition, and it'll show you. So back to the process. So now I'm calling people. All right. I kept notes, you guys, on the people that I called. Why did I keep notes? Well, number one, I didn't even have a cell phone. I didn't have a cell phone when I started 4Life, right? And so I used a regular landline, and I didn't even have a computer. I was broke. In fact, I had a joke. I'd say, I'm so broke, I can't pay attention. I was that broke. So I was calling people, but I took notes. Talked to Mercy today, and if Mercy has a dog, of course, we're going to talk about dogs for, a few minutes because I love dogs. And so she's got a dog named Fido, write a note down. Or Mercy's got, her daughter has an autoimmune problem and she's looking for a product. And we talked to her. So I take a note. So next time I call Mercy, hey, Mercy, how's your daughter doing? Well, what does that do? Immediately, Mercy realizes that her needs, her interests are my interests. I'm interested in helping her. So I'm not just thinking about how much money I'm going to make if Mercy signs up. None of that. I want to help Mercy. So now I've established a friendship with Mercy. Some of these people were already friends of mine, but I've tried to establish a trust with Mercy, which means that by me calling her and she asks questions, and if I didn't have the answer, you guys, I would always look for the answer. And I tell this to everybody: if you're starting your business right now, you're not going to have the answers to everything, and it's okay. That's why you come to these meetings, these Zooms, and if you have questions, you ask them. If it's a product question, Dave, I've got so-and-so, or Dr. Ogina, he's probably the best person to ask when it comes to products and it comes to what to use a product for. But if I didn't have the answer, I would always tell people, you know what? I honestly don't know the answer to that one right now, but I'll find it for you. And it's a great way to follow up, by the way. I'll find out and get back to you. Give me 24 or 48 hours. And they always say, okay. I took notes. The key is follow up, follow up, follow up. This is a business, all right? So when I follow up with people, sometimes it's a few days later, sometimes it's a week later, a few weeks later, but I would follow up with people constantly, all right? Now, in my networking, I always asked for referrals. Do you know anybody that is into health and wellness? They like nutrition, they take nutritional products, or maybe they have a condition right now, an ailment, and they're looking for something to help them. I'll talk to them. All you have to do is just, bring them to the table and I'll talk to them. In some cases, they would give me their phone number. They would say, well, will you call this person? And I don't like doing that, because if I call them, they'd be thinking, well, if it's so good, why didn't Joe call me? Why are you calling me? So I would try to ask them and say, yeah, do you mind just introducing them to me? If you introduce them to me or me to them, I'll do all the talking. All you have to do is say, hey, I've come across something I think could be good for you. This is Dave. I'll take it from there. And so they would do that. I have people that would do that. But one of the guys I got, Jeff Outgilbers, he was a referral. And I called Jeff and started talking to him, and it was cold. Now, what he and I had in common was he's been in network marketing, but he was angry because the company he was with failed. It had some challenges, and Jeff was kind of out on the sidelines trying to figure out what he was going to do with his life. And so I got him at the right time, meaning that he had to do something. All right. When you're in your early 40s and you still have bills to pay, you got to figure out something. And so I got him at the right time. Timing is everything, you guys. I'll say that again. Timing is everything. Remember I said in the beginning of this, some will, some won't. So what? Some will be ready, some won't be ready. Jeff was ready. I had to push him a little bit. I had to call him multiple times. Finally, I just said, Jeff, look, I'm going to do this. I'm going to build this. I'm asking you to come along with me. Let's do it together. Let's have fun doing it together. All right. So here's another thing I did. And I would encourage all of you to do this. Sell yourself. What do I mean by sell yourself? Show the person when it gets to the business opportunity, if you're talking to them about business and making money, declare yourself. Don't be afraid to declare yourself to this person that you are building this business and you're going to continue building it. And you can't do it alone. You have to build a network with people, and you're inviting them to come along and participate. What do you have to lose? Get involved, try the products. You've got nothing to lose and a lot to gain by building this. And here's how I feel about For Life. With or without us, it's going to grow. It's going to be successful. Why? Because I see the product, the quality of the product, the efficacy of the product. I see David Lisenby, his principles and values and experience, his vision, his mission statement, his determination, is debt-free. By the way, For Life has never had any debt. They've always been debt-free. And so because of all of that, I know they'll be successful. Well, if you know a company is going to be successful and you need to change your financial position in life, why not? What do you got to lose? Nothing. If anything, time, a little bit of time. So I would encourage people, get in and try it. I'd sell myself. Now, there's three things I was doing constantly. Three things I constantly did in this process of networking. I went back home, prepared my presentation. Presentation was about company, product, opportunity. Okay, simple. I tried to have some testimonies. People started using the products. I love the product. Product had a great impact on me, by the way. I had Crohn's disease, and the Crohn's disease, I've not had a flare-up of Crohn's now since October of 1998, so 24 years. So I love the product. So Transfer Factor is an amazing product. And we've got a lot of amazing products. So my presentation was very simple, and it was pretty short. Now I'm presenting, I'm talking to people, presenting. And by the way, all over the telephone, I didn't have a car. So I was calling people, looking for people, inviting people, invite them, not to a Zoom, didn't have Zoom back then. So it was a conference call, and it was a toll call. So you're going to pay toll charges if you call this number and get on for 30 minutes and listen. But that's what Jeff and I were doing, getting people to come in. And then I was finding other people myself, working with Jeff and his people and getting new people. So of the three things I was doing on a regular basis, number one, I was always looking for new people. My antenna was always up. I was scouting. If I went to the bank, I'm talking to the banker. I walk in, let's say I've got to put one of my onion checks. I called it an onion check. You peel it open and you cry because it's so small. Those are the first For Life checks. They were onion checks. And I'd go to the bank, deposit my $220 something, I think. And then I would tell the person, I'm excited. I started a new business. What does it hurt for me to tell the teller? I didn't say that. In fact, I think I did say one time, I'm here to deposit my onion check. And she looked at me like, what's an onion check? And I says, it's so small, I cry. So anyhow, but I told him, I said, I've started a new business. Okay. Well, anytime you tell someone you started a new business, chances are they're going to ask you what it is. Now, I can't give a presentation in the bank with the teller, but I always had my antenna up. I was always out and about networking. I wasn't a fanatic. I wasn't running around waving a For Life flag, jumping up and down, screaming Transfer Factor. I was just making acquaintances, talking to people, just like yesterday at the dog beach. Okay. So one, I'm talking to people for myself. Prospecting, scouting, making new friendships. If you all go, every one of you, if you go back in time through your life, look at all the friends you've made. Ask yourself a question. When did it happen? Where did it happen? What were the circumstances? Were you at a company party, a Christmas party? Were you at church and you met them? Were they a business associate you met at work? Because you worked together in the same place, same department. Maybe you were at a sporting event and you met them. Maybe you went to the beach and you met. There's people in your life. You met them somewhere, somehow, some way. Keep doing it. Just do it more. You see, there's people that are very social and they've got a lot of friends. I call them more social influencers. Find one of those people.
John, wait.
Make friends with them. Okay. So the point is, networking isn't something that you say, well, all right, I'm going to talk to someone, today or tomorrow, or you think of someone, that's wonderful, but always have your antennas up. Always be prepared. Okay. So that's number one of the three. Number one, you are prepared. You're talking to people for you that you're going to sponsor. Number two, when you do sponsor someone, now you find yourself talking to people.
So you heard me say.
Thank you. Now you're talking to people for your people. Okay. You're talking, and by the way, one of the reasons why I love live presentations when you're in a room together is because, people, you've got people's captive attention. All right. It's easy on these Zooms to get sidetracked with things going on. Happens to me too. All right. But the point is this. In my networking effort, number two was, if I have Beverly or I have Claudia and I've sponsored them, people I don't know. So I would hope that you get to introduce me to your people. So what am I doing now? I'm talking to my people's people. Okay. So now I'm doing two things. If I'm not busy talking to my people's people, like right now, I'm talking to Daddy Cool and Florence and Marty and Jen and Yvonne and Sue and all of you at Magnolia from around the world. Well, someone invited you here. Wasn't me. I didn't sponsor you. So I'm talking to my people's people. So get comfortable talking to your people's people. Here's what's really cool about talking to your people's people. Okay. Is that the chances are when you meet them for the first time, they don't know you. They don't know your history. They don't know your experience. You could have just signed up yesterday, or you could be a Platinum International Diamond. Doesn't make any difference to them. They don't know the difference, you see. So be who you want to be, which is a platinum, which means that you're talking like a platinum, presenting like a platinum, which just simply means that you're using all these things we talk about on these trainings and you're applying them, implementing them. And so now it's all up in your head. Okay. Develop your social skills, learn to, like the guy I talked to yesterday, I was telling him, I said, I used to be real introverted. And he goes, well, you're not introverted now. I could tell that you're good at what you do. He told me. And I said, thank you. I've been doing it for 41 years. You do anything for 41 years and you start to get pretty good at it. But the point is this, your people's people is a great place for you to make changes. It's a great place for you to, because people that know you, they put you in a box. They see you one particular way. Oh, you're quiet. You're shy. You've never been successful. You've never done this. You've never done that. What's going to be different now? When you talk to someone new, they can't do that to you. They don't know you. So go ahead. Be more extroverted. Be bold. Be brave. Don't be afraid to talk to them about transfer factor and talk to them about this opportunity. Invite them to come to a Zoom. Use your skills and keep developing your skills. Now, if you do a good job with your downline, do you think that they might invite another person for you to talk to? Of course they will. If Sharon, hi Sharon, see Sharon in South Africa, if Sharon is talking to Yvonne, because she sponsored Yvonne, and Yvonne brings Beatrice to the table, and Sharon does such a wonderful job in developing a friendship with Beatrice, and then presenting to Beatrice this opportunity, and Beatrice says, yeah, I want to be part of the For Life family. I see this is a wonderful opportunity. I want to get involved. Well, Yvonne's going to go, man, Sharon, you did such an awesome job. Let's keep doing it. So now Yvonne and Sharon have partnered up, and Yvonne's bringing more people to the table. That's what happened to me. Jeff started bringing people to the table, and that led to more people. And then pretty soon I was going to Puerto Rico, Armenio, he's bringing people to the table. And next thing you know, I'm going to the Dominican Republic, and Esdras is bringing people. So I find myself spending more time all of a sudden talking to my people's people. Now you got to be careful, because when that starts to happen and you spend all your time and this did happen to me, by the way, talking to your people's people, I felt good serving my people. It's wonderful to just show up and you got 200, 300, 400 people in a room and they're all excited to see you and hear your message. How wonderful is that? Well, you end up with one leg. You're never going to become a platinum with one leg. So I had to try to keep my legs balanced. I actually had two legs, because that happened with my other leg, which went off through the United States and off to a couple other countries. And I was working that leg, which, by the way, is under Gabby, my wife. She's got a leg that just goes all off through Southeast Asia and so forth now. But I had a third leg that I needed. It was really was not non-existent almost. I found myself two-legged. And that's why I had platinums below me before me. Armenio, Juan, Jeff, they're all platinums before I was a platinum, because I didn't have a third leg. But what happened was I was spending so much time helping talk to my people's people and having a good time doing it. It's a lot of fun. I had to get back out and start scouting new people. And that's what I'm doing again, by the way. I'm scouting. I love scouting. So now you're doing two things. You're still scouting people, talking to your people's people. And number three, I can't stress this enough, you guys. Follow up, follow up, follow up. You've got to follow up. All right. Not just for you, but your people's people. When you're talking like Sharon, let's say you sponsor Yvonne, and Yvonne has talked to Daddy Cool, and Daddy Cool didn't sign up, but you were there present on that call with Daddy Cool and Yvonne. Next time you're talking to Yvonne, maybe it's a week, 2 weeks later in a conversation, bring up Daddy Cool. Hey, Yvonne, what happened to Daddy Cool? Have we reached out to him again? Have we talked? So now you're taking care of your people. You're reminding your people, hey, have we talked to this person again? If not, give them a call, get them back on. I'll help talk to them again. Follow up, follow up, follow up, follow up. I can't tell you how many people get tossed by the wayside and somebody else eventually comes in and sponsors them because the person who talked to them initially did not follow up. Now, you do get to a point when you become like a bronze and a gold and a platinum, that you now have your 3 solid legs, and you're spending most of your time, like 90% of your time, working your downline. So you're engaged, maybe you're even traveling, going out doing, meeting people with them. You've got your 3 legs and you want to get all 3 of them to gold, so you're platinum. Like in my case, I can't go back and, I could not follow up with everybody I've talked to in my 4-life career. Over 24 years, I've got a stack this high of yellow notepads, all right? And maybe for fun, I could try going back, but over 24 years, people have moved, their numbers disconnected, whatnot. But I can't tell you how much I did follow up. My first probably 5 years in the business, follow up, follow up, follow up, follow up. So that's the routine. Scouting new people, my antenna's up all the time. Every opportunity I've got, I take advantage of it. Number 2, talking to my people's people all the time. Number 3, follow up for me and for the people's people. So I am constantly busy. If you find that you are not busy in this business, you're not doing those 3 things. It's that simple. And if you're not, just ask yourself, why aren't you? What is it that you need to get you to do that? All right. You look at your cell phone, you've got friends, right? Now, maybe that they're so resistant against you, they're pushing against you so much about this that you feel like, I can't do this because all my friends think I'm an idiot, or all my friends think I'm going to fail. My friends reject. Those are crocodiles. Don't listen to the crocodiles. In fact, I want to show you all this presentation before we finish, but let me tell you real quick about the crocodile story. Some of you have heard it, some of you have not. I said it in Spanish the other day. Bev, have I said it in English lately? J. Michael, have I said my crocodile story in English lately? Okay. I'm going to give you all my crocodile story, okay? And I'm going to give you all some homework now. I'm going to ask you, please, listen carefully to my crocodile story. It's a KISS story. Keep it simple and stupid, all right? So you can all listen to this, and this is being recorded, by the way. So if you need to go back and listen to it again, go ahead. I'd like you to learn it because this story applies to all of us. All right. It's a simple story. It's a story about a rich man, an old rich man. This old rich man made $1 billion. He became a billionaire with the letter B, and he did it in the state of Texas. Now he could have done it in other countries. You can make up whatever he did it in your country, but here in the United States, he did it in the oil business. He had oil wells in Texas, and because he owned these oil wells, he became a billionaire. When he became a billionaire, he decided to celebrate and have a party. So he invited all of his friends, family, business associates, neighbors over to his mansion, because he's a rich man, to his mansion to celebrate and have a party with him. So the night of the party, all these people show up and they're inside his mansion and they're celebrating. They're eating hors d'oeuvres. They're toasting to each other. You know, this guy's a billionaire. Well, all of a sudden, the old man stands up while everyone's mingling. He stands up and he claps his hands and everyone, listen up. Let's go out in the backyard. In the back of the house is a beautiful garden. It's a full moon outside and the stars are bright. Let's go out in the back and enjoy the atmosphere. Everybody moves out into the backyard. And now they're out there mingling and toasting and eating hors d'oeuvres. And the old man walks over towards a swimming pool and he turns the light on the pool. Claps his hands and says, everyone come over to the pool. And they walk towards the pool. And as they get to the edge of the pool, they look down and they realize there's crocodiles in this pool. And they're startled. The old man looks at everyone and says, listen up, everybody. The first person that could swim across that there pool full of them there crocodiles, I'll give you one of 3 things if you can make it across alive. I'll give you $1 million in cash if you make it across alive. Or I'll give you one of my oil wells and you'll be financially free for the rest of your life. Or if you're a man and you make it across, I will give you my daughter's hand in marriage and you get my entire fortune. All of a sudden there's a splash and there's this guy in the pool. Water's going everywhere and he's swimming like crazy. All of a sudden he's halfway across the pool and the crocodiles take off to go after him. Right as they're about to tear off his arms and legs, he makes it to the other side, pulls himself out. He's huffing and puffing. His face is all red. And he looks at the old man. And the old man looks at him and says, I don't believe it. You did it. You're alive. What do you want? Do you want $1 million in cash? And the guy says, no. You want one of my oil wells so you could be financially free for the rest of your life. And the man says, no. Oh, you want my daughter's hand in marriage so you get my entire fortune, don't you? And the man says, no, I just want to know who the idiot is that pushed me in the pool. Here's my point. We are all here today, every one of you, because someone pushed you in the For Life pool. Now, there might be some people that are listening for the first time. They're not signed up yet. And I hope you do sign up. But we're in the For Life pool. All right. I want to ask all of you, does everybody know how to swim? No. Some people don't know how to swim. But if somebody wants to get into a pool, can they learn to swim? Anybody can learn to swim. Are there people that have fear of water, fear of swimming? Of course they do. We're all in this For Life pool together. So we teach each other how to swim. All right. So everybody can learn to swim. Here we are in the For Life pool, and there are crocodiles. Who are the crocodiles? They're the ones that want to kill you. They're the dream stealers. They're the ones that say, you know, Yolanda, you can't do this. Sue, you can't do this. Sharon, Florence, Maddie, you know, Jen, you can't do that. You can't be successful. You don't know how to build a network. If the man in the pool had stopped to pay attention to the crocodiles, what would have happened to him? He would have died. All right. And that's what happens in this business as well. People stop and listen to the crocodiles and they die. Don't pay attention to the crocodiles. Just keep on swimming, keep on going, keep on learning, keep on growing. That rhymes. So here's my point. Do not listen to the crocodiles. And those that get to the other side, you keep swimming, I promise you, you will get to the other side. Whatever your goal is, if it's to be a presidential, if it's to be a bronze, a gold, a diamond, a silver, whatever it is, if you keep swimming, you will get to the other side. You'll learn, all right? When you get there, you don't get out of the pool and say, bye, everybody, I'm out of here, I'm gone. You turn around and you start encouraging everybody else. Come on, let's go, let's get across. Reach out and help them, pull them out of the water. That's what networking is all about. You see, it's people helping people. And that's why our slogan changed from taking transfer factor to the world to together building people. When I joined For Life, it was taking transfer factor to the world. And then we changed it to together building people. And that's what this is all about, you guys. So, that's my process of networking. Those three things I want to talk about mostly today. Keep your antennas up, keep scouting, keep talking to people, make new friendships, new acquaintances, new relationships, keep on making relationships. All right. Number two, when you sign someone up, get into their world of relationships, get into their people, start talking to them. If you get good at presenting and talking, you develop those social skills, trust me, your downline is going to want you to talk to their people more and more. Okay. And three, follow up, follow up, follow up. You've got to do that. So I want to share with you real quick. I'm just going to share the beginning of this, a few minutes of it. And then I'm going to put it in the WhatsApp groups. I will even put it here. I think I can put the link in the chat if you all give me 1 second here. This is the presentation. What happened here, just to kind of give you a little bit of a what do you call it? Preview, excuse me, of how this is put together. I got together with one of our millennials. Elias is his name. Elias is married to Christine. She's the daughter of Lily Sanchez. Lily Sanchez is one of my platinums in my organization. She's from Texas, of all places. Lily, right on the border. But anyhow, these, I call them kids because I'm 62 years old. They're millennials. They're in their late 20s, early 30s, and their way of networking is a bit different than the way I grew up. We got to adapt and change. They like things fast. They like things quick. They use a different terminology. And so I put together a PowerPoint with Elias. Omar took it, and he's the one that's presenting here. This is how our Wednesday night presentations go, basically. So every Wednesday in English, I have a presentation in the United States. What's today? Wednesday. I understand you're all going to be asleep because at my 6 o'clock in the evening, it's your 3 o'clock in the morning. I don't expect you to be up at 3 a.m. If you are, congratulations, you're a superstar. But if you are up at 3 a.m., I hope it's because you have someone that's on the Zoom, English Zoom, and you're just there to support them. You get up, you listen, and go back to bed, okay? And I've done that many times, by the way, with meetings on the other side of the world. So, but the point is this, my calendar, it's there in this calendar that we have on my website. Send a link to people that in the United States or in a place in the world where they would get on at my 6 p.m., 6 in the evening here in California. So let me share this with you real quick. I have to open it up 1 second here. When I did my cell phone share, that took me away from this. Let me close that out and go back to this and reshare. Here we go. Thanks for your patience, everyone. Let me know when you can see my screen. Oh, hang on a second. I need to share audio. My bad. Share sound and optimize video. And there. Okay. Let me know if you can see this.
It's good to go.
Hopefully it doesn't skip, but let me go ahead and play it for you. And I'll make sure you all get the link.
Welcome. You are about to discover a proven step-by-step system that would allow you to create your own economy throughout a 5-star opportunity that's going to allow you to design the life of your dreams, be able to live a life of abundance, and overall, a life of freedom. So, Once this presentation is done, be sure to get back with that person to design a game plan and get started with you so you can begin to live a life that you always dreamed of. Now, today's world is full of increasing chaos, confusion, and challenges. Health threats, pandemics, financial challenges, inflation, recession speaking, global crisis, and wars. Many people are living a life of stress out there. What are the options that are there to move you beyond a survival mode and start living a life of abundance? Well, you can get another job. Some people have 2, 3 jobs, but they don't have time to enjoy the money they make or for their family. You can go to school and get a degree, but that's not going to guarantee you finding a job with that or for that. You can start your own business, but we all know it takes a lot of risk, a lot of money, a lot of capital to start a real solid business, and most business fail within the first 5 to 10 years. So you can become a social media influencer, and people out there are making tons of money, but you basically have to live on social media, and you have to have special skills to know how to market yourself the right way, and partner with a successful company and global team to build a global network and allow you to leverage your time so you can begin to enjoy more freedom. That's what we want to talk to you about. Let me share with you what's a winning option in today's world, in today's economy, and with everything that's happening. We are part of this global movement that allows us to be part of a globalization, have that rentability, and be part of a community of change makers that are empowering other people to change their paradigms and change their mindset so you can become the best version of yourself, live life by design and not by the obligation of having to go through the stress. You might be asking, okay, what are the benefits versus what are the risks? This is number one. First benefit, it's the turnkey system with your personal website for an e-commerce in multiple countries and languages already in place to grow your business internationally. Number two, you have a cell phone application with CRM to share content and manage your business from the comfort of your phone. Number three, low investment, low risk for any average person to start their own business. Number four, you invest in yourself each month rather than the costly overhead expenses of having an own business like a yoga shop, or it doesn't matter, a store, a retail store, or building your own store and products. It takes a lot. Number five, you work with a team of other like-minded entrepreneurs. You're not by yourself. You will definitely not be by yourself. There's a whole community and a global team that's going to support you and train you to guide you for that you want to achieve. You can actually begin to earn while you learn, and that's powerful in today's world. Number seven, you actually get paid for something that you start. You can get paid 5-10 years from now for something you start and you begin today. It's called residual income, the power of leveraging and get paid for the rest of your life for something you did once. And that's what we want to share with you. Now, what do experts say?
Okay, that's just the beginning of it. Give you a little taste. It's less than 13 minutes. It's a good full presentation. I want to get it out there to all of you. Claudia, have you seen that one?
Yes, sir.
You said yes?
Yes, I saw it.
Okay, good. So I want to get that out there. Now, this is also work in progress. So it might get a little tweak here or there, as we move along. But the concept of this message is going to basically stay the same. I feel today's language and talking to people is a bit different than when I started networking 24 years ago with For Life. And so we're not focusing so much on trying to explain, everything about, transfer factor. I mean, it's in there a little bit, but we're not getting into the depths of it all because we want to catch people's attention. The whole purpose is to have this individual within 13 minutes that listens to get back and want to know more about the business. And so it's really about, I call it first exposure, giving them a first exposure. And those that want a second exposure, you can get deeper into it. Get them on these trainings, get them on an opportunity call, get them on where the health talks with Dr. Regina, and just, again, establish the relationship, establish the trust, and get in and start working with them. So you guys, thank you so much. We're 5 minutes after the hour. I don't like to go over 60 minutes usually. So I will put this in the WhatsApp groups, the link, and all of you can get that presentation. Does anybody have any questions for me before we close it out? Anything at all? Let's keep going. Let's keep growing. All right. We're all professional networkers. You know, let's do it. Do those 3 things on a regular basis. And I promise you, you will cross the pool for life, and the crocodiles, you'll look back at them and smile. All right. All right, guys. Love you. I'm going to unmute all of your microphones, and let's hear some noise. Keep going. Keep growing. Thanks, you guys. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Africa.
Guys, see you another time.
Talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.